In this episode, I'm going to share 2 actions that you can take today that will drastically change your life within the next 12 months, just like they did for myself, as long as you're willing to put in the work for you. It feels amazing to be back for season 2 of the Try and Stop Me podcast. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Colleen Blum. You can call me Col. I, like you, have dreams. I, like you, have goals. I, like you, have ambitions. But I, like you, also have fears. I, like you, have doubts, sometimes confidence issues, whatever the case may be. And that is exactly what this show is about. I am here to motivate you, to challenge you, inspire you, shake you up, and help you grow. And we do just that by releasing an episode every single Monday. Some Mondays we have some truly incredible guests on the show where they share their journeys about success, about trials and tribulations, maybe about some failures and what the valuable life lessons they've learned along the way were. And then on the off Mondays, that's where my favorite part comes in. It's just you and I hanging out for some solo time, chit-chatting, maybe over some coffee or some water or wine or whatever we got going on. Just talking about our dreams, our goals. What do we really want out of life? That is why it's my favorite. It is just me and you hanging out. As you can see, things right now look a little bit different because we are now on YouTube. We will be on every podcast platform available, as well as being able to see on YouTube now. So do me a favor. Make sure you like, subscribe, whatever the case is, leave a review on any of the platforms you are watching or listening on, because that really, really helps us out, especially in a day and age when there's so many robot bots or whatever they call them. Like I said, like you, I've dreamed of success, of happiness, of strength, of confidence, but like so many people in this world, at some point I fell off. In my 20s, I definitely fell off and lost myself, like many people do. If you hear people saying that they have their shit all together throughout their whole entire life, they are lying to you, my friend. Some point in your life, you will go through something that will shake you to your core. It is completely then your responsibility on how you act there on out to be able to heal yourself and find your happiness again. It will happen. I hope it doesn't happen, but unfortunately, it's life. It probably will. For me, I decided I was done. I was done in the misery. I was done in the games. I was done with all of it. So I said to myself, I don't want to be 80 years old and look back and say I could have, should have, would have. I want to live a life that when I have grandkids, they will be super proud of the cool grandma that they had, or my younger little girl self would be proud to look up to and say, wow, she made it. That is exactly the way that I was going about my life in my late 20s, and I had to make a shift. Any of this sound familiar? If you say, hey, Kyle, I'm good, that's cool, because then that means that I want you to elevate. If you're happy in a relationship, in life, in job, great. There's always room to go up, though. There's always room to be happier. There's always rooms to make relationships better. So don't think that you're stagnant and don't think that you're perfect, because there's always room for self-improvement. At some point in life, you have to really take a step back and take a look at what's going on in life. Is this a situation that you actually are happy in, that you actually want to be in? Or are you, for some ass back reason, thinking this is all you deserve? I'm calling you out on that bullshit, because that is not true. You deserve so much more than the life you are settling for right now, or the life that you think is just A-okay and perfect, because I know there is more out there for you. I am here to remind you, like I said, there is more. You deserve more, whether it's your financial state, your relationship status, your relationship with your family, your friendships, whatever the case may be. You deserve a life that is truly whole and happy and full. You have that it factor. And because you're listening to this, I know you do, because you actually are actively taking the steps to want to better yourself. So let's get into the 2 things. First, before we do that, I want you to really think for me. Really think. What is it that you really want in life? Okay, you got it? Now say it out loud. Tell me why you deserve that thing that you want. Weird, right? Who am I to tell you, to tell me what you deserve? Well, what gives you the right to just think it and not say it? If it's something you really want, give me a real reason why you deserve it. Do you want to be debt-free? Okay, tell me why. Do you want to be debt free because you want to keep up with the Joneses and buy that fancy new car or the bigger house? Or do you want to be debt free because you have an elephant on your shoulders that it's time to get off? You want to buy healthier foods for your family. You want to go to that gym that you can't afford. You want to be able to, I don't know, buy yourself a pair of shoes because you haven't in 5 years. That is the type of reason that you want to be debt free. I'm all for that. Maybe it's you want love. There's a lot of people out there. That's a big thing for New Year's resolutions. People want to find love. Absolutely. But are you ready for love? I mean this in the sense of, do you love yourself right now? In the way that somebody else can come into your life and love you, not in a need type of love, because that's unhealthy. That's a toxic relationship. Do you want love because you want a partner and a friend and someone to motivate you and challenge you and teach you new things? Or do you want love because you need somebody? You need a partner. You need that connection. That's kind of a toxic trait. And I'm no Gandhi here. I'm just simply saying that if you want love, or if you want money, or if you want whatever the case is you want, tell me why you want it. Is it a healthy reason why? Because if it's not healthy, then your main want should be backed up to be able to figure out what is it that you need to fix about yourself to be able to get the things that you actually want in a healthy manner. My biggest thing is always, don't beg somebody else to see your self-worth until you see it for yourself. Like I said, I'm no Gandhi here. I'm just somebody who's lived through some real dark times in my life, and I found a way to overcome it and get through it myself. And these were the things that I actively actually had to work on myself. I couldn't jump into a relationship. I couldn't jump into financially movements or whatever the case was until I was financially healthy, until I was spiritually or mentally healthy, that I wasn't just gravitating towards another man to be able to take care of me and heal broken parts of me. I needed to heal broken parts of me before I could expect family, friends, relationships, whatever the case may be, to be able to have healthier relationships, not needing relationships. When I was at my lowest, I turned to podcasts. I was sick of going through the motions. I was sick of just doing the day-to-day mundane thing, waiting for life to happen for me, waiting for things to fall in my lap. I was starting to get a lot healthier mentally because I was listening to so many. And then I came across Dr. Phil's. And don't make fun of me. I love Dr. Phil. But in one of his series, I think it was Living Life by Design, he had said one of the segments that shook me. He said, where you are today is solely your responsibility. Where you are in 12 months from today's date will solely be your responsibility. I was like, yeah, and? But what he meant by that was saying, you have 365 days to actively make a difference in your own life. So you are unhappy, or if you're unhealthy, or if you want to make a change or a financial change, you have 365 days to actively make a change. It doesn't have to be drastic. It doesn't have to be something that you go out and do overnight, but it has to be little steps per day. The next thing he said that really shook me was, if in 365 days nothing has changed, the only person to blame is yourself. I was like, well, that was rude. But it's so true. If in 365 days, I wasn't in a different position in my life, in my happiness, in my mindset, in my health, in my financial situation, in whatever the case was, that would be on me solely and only. I couldn't blame game anybody else but me. What he said, and this takes us to our first action that changed my life. He said, get out a piece of paper and write out today's date. I did that. He said, write down 5 things that you want to be or want out of your life within the next 12 months. I said, okay, I'll write it down. He said, well, I mean, he wasn't specifically speaking to me, but he said in my ears, write it down and put it in a drawer. Mark your calendar on your phone, on whatever is going to set you a reminder to pick back up that note. Put it in a safe spot and pick it up in 12 months from that date. You're going to actively see if the things you wrote down on that piece of paper, it could be 5 things, it could be 2 things, it could be 20 things, but it really has to be something that you specifically want, really desperately to change in your life. Write it down, put it in a drawer, come back to it in a year from now. If those things have changed, that is 100% because you actively took the changes to make your life better. If they are the same, have you tried to work on them, or did you put them to the waste barrel and never looked at it again? Because that is solely your responsibility. I was like, okay, challenge accepted. So that is my challenge for you. Number 1, write down today's date, write out what you want in life, put that piece of paper in a drawer, mark your calendar, and then a year from now, you pull out that piece of paper and see what you wrote down and see what kind of change you have in your life. Have you actively changed your life, or is it the exact same it is today? For me, I did it. I wrote it down December 20th, 2020. I wrote down some of my deepest, darkest desires of happiness, of mindset, of wealth, of love, whatever the case I wanted to write down, I wrote it down. I just put it all on a piece of paper. I tucked it into a drawer and I marked my calendar. I also have a little help from Gabby Bernstein, which is the second part of my one of two actions, is the way I spoke to myself for 12 months. And it might seem corny and it might seem a little fluffy, but truly what we say to ourselves actually makes a change in our life. Every single day for 365 days since I wrote that note, I tell myself exactly this, because that's what Gabby says to do. I say, I deserve wealth, health, happiness, peace, and freedom. It's what I needed at the time. It's what I desperately desired at the time. It's what healing I needed. And even on the deepest, darkest days, even on the days where I was like, there's no way we're getting out of this mindset, there's no way that this is going to end, I would say it. I would say it 20 times sometimes walking to the train, just repeating out loud, I deserve wealth, health, happiness, peace, and freedom. 900 times per day, I'd probably say it. Sometimes in the brain, but mostly saying it out loud. Because if you don't say it out loud and you're just saying it in your brain, it's not coming outside for it to actively release out of you. I know it sounds woo-woo and I know it sounds like bullshit, but it's true. It really happens, because I can tell you, I opened up that note on December 20th, 2020, the date I was supposed to open it. And I wrote down 5 things, and 4 of the 5 were actively changed, better, happier, healthier, newer, fresher. It was just, I started crying because it was so, at that point I had forgotten what I actually wrote down. But this is what I want for you. I want you to take 2 actions, because I really believe that if this can help me and where I was, it can absolutely help you, whether you're in that good spot in your life or in a rough spot. I want you to really think about what you want. Write it down on a piece of paper, and not like your wish list, like I want a Range Rover or whatever the case is. Like, what do you specifically really drive it down? What do you want? Because why do you want it? Why do you deserve it? Write it down, put it in a drawer, put it away for 365 days, mark your calendar, and then open up that note and see if you actively made changes to get those things, to get rid of some of those things sometimes. Some of my options were getting rid of certain things. So that is one thing. And then also the way you are speaking to yourself. Say you deserve, because you deserve things. What do you deserve? Be specific on what you deserve and say, I deserve. Remember, I said I deserve wealth, health, happiness, peace, and freedom. It's what I needed to breathe. It's what I needed to smile again, to dance again. Tell yourself what you need. What I said to myself for 12 months was what I needed. What you need might be completely different. So fill in your gaps, but fill them in. Don't pass up on this opportunity, because 365 days from now, if you're not in a different state, it is 100% your responsibility, no one else's. Don't play the blame game card. You are in control of your own life, regardless of what is going on. I promise you that. I know you have this fire inside of you. I see it. I believe it. I feel it. Every time you guys reach out to me, I know it. Be authentically you. Don't let this internet life rush you. Don't be outside of who you really are. The right things, the right timing, as long as you're taking care of yourself, of your mind, of your heart, of you, the right things will gravitate for you, towards you. Your story is now about to get very good. I hope you actually take this challenge and do the 2 steps, because I want to hear all about it in 365 days from the date you are hearing this. Write yourself a note, put it in a drawer, and let me know a year from now. Did they come true? Did you actively make changes? Did you fall to the wayside on some things that you have to restart? Because there's one option on there that I need to restart, if I'm being very honest with you. Your story is about to get real good. So be your own genie in a bottle. Write that stuff down on a note. Tell yourself exactly what you deserve every single day, and let me know in 365 days if things actively changed for you. Follow me at Kyle Blum or on the Try and Stop Me podcast. I would love to hear about your journey and successes, and I can't wait to hear about the 365-day challenge. Next week, we're back with another great interview. This time, it's Michael Sheen. He is going to tell us all about the book that he just wrote, talking about the Hype Handbook, how influencers have deployed their power to get hype the way that they want. I'm super excited. It's actually a very interesting conversation, and I can't wait to see you there.